Locho sambo pagyo trashi pa tuche tempe tinle yarngo da pege drolor zambe zeparache palden lame shabla solvade Omo a Guru Vajra Dara Suma Timu Nisha Sane Karma Uta Varda Nishri Badra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Hum Om a Guru Vajra Dara Suma Timu Nisha Sane Karma Uta Varda Nishri Badra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Hum Om Guru Vajra Dara Suma Timu Nisha Sane Karma Uta Varda Nishri Badra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Om Pakyuke Kudan Dagi Lu Pakyuke Sundan Dagi Nga Pakyuke Tukdan Dagi Yi Tön yerme çıktı cingelo Makyuke kudan da gelu Makyuke sundan da gina Makyuke tukdan da geyi Tön yerme çıktı cingelo Mahamuni Shakyamuni Soha Omuni Amuni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Soha Omuni Amuni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Soha Sangye Chodan Sogi Chonam La Chancho Pardo Dani Kyapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Sonamgi Drola Pinchira Sangye Druparesho Sangye Chodan Sogi Chonam La Chancho Pardo Dani Kyapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Sonamgi Drola Pinchira Sangye Druparesho Sangye Chodan Tsogi Chonamla Chancho Pardo Dani Kyapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Sonamgi Drola Pinchira Sangye Druparesho. In the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightenment. Through the practice of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. So, yesterday we started to look at the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsong Kapa, and today we need to conclude it. But before we go to the specific points, as we said yesterday, in our practice, it's important to go through the part of accumulation of merit, purification of our negativities, and to request the blessings. No? When we talk actually about accumulation of merit, it's quite difficult to translate in English somehow, because the word merit is not a real good translation. The word in Sanskrit is punya, in Tibetan is sunam, and it's very difficult. There is not a real translation. I remember Professor Lokesh Chandra, which is a great scholar of Sanskrit and Tibetan and so on, he was saying there is no translation for punya. Why? Because in our language, we don't have the concept. In our culture, we don't have the concept of merit, of punya. Okay? Because that's why normally we use different words to try to translate. We use the word merit, we use the word positive causes, virtuous actions, positive karma. We try to use many different words to translate it, but actually none of them is really like giving the full meaning of it. No? So, the point basically is that we cannot experience any result without having created the causes. Everything that we experience, positive and negative, are results of causes that at some point in our lives we have created. The action that we experience in the very right moment are actually the conditions through which the causes of the past will manifest. So, similar to that, if we want to have a very positive experience in the future in our own spiritual path of realizations of, like, for example, bodhicitta, and to develop a state of mind of peace and stability and joy and love and compassion and satisfaction and so on, we must create the causes. We cannot experience this without creating the causes. It's like making an analogy. If I go to a place, a shop, and I want to buy something, being in front of the shop is the condition. But if I have not accumulated enough money to buy it, I cannot buy it, even though they may have the best discount and it's very difficult to get that object and to find it available. It's very rare, and suddenly I am there and the object is available for sale, and it has a very good price, wonderful. Oh, but I haven't kept money in all these years, so I cannot buy it. So accumulating the money is like accumulating merit, accumulating the positive causes, and then going to the shop is like the condition. No? So similar to that, in our own path, we need to accumulate positive causes, we need to accumulate merits, and then we will have also also need to create the conditions. Otherwise, only having the money is not enough to get what I want. I need to go to the shop and find the right seller also, no? Similar to that, I need to accumulate the right causes, and then I need to go do the meditation, I need to study, I need to reflect, and so on. But without creating the causes, not very difficultly, it will be impossible for me to realize. If I do not create the right causes, if I do not generate the right positive energy, I can study a lot, but it will mostly remain only as an intellectual understanding. I will not be able to bring it down to my heart, really. I will not be able to realize it. So that's why it's very, very important also for us to create the right causes to generate what we call virtue or merits. Then there is also the other part, which is to purify our negativities, which is also very important. To purify our negativities is like, if we make the analogy saying that the positive causes, the merits, are like the money that we accumulate, like credits that we have. We could say that the negativities are like debts that we create. No? So to purify, it means to eliminate the debt without paying it. It's like getting an amnesty out of the debt. I don't need to pay any more the debt, and the debt is completely eliminated. So this is basically the process that two very, very important parts on our own path. Because once our negative karma manifests, you cannot do anything about it, no? I remember now one story in the time of Buddha. One time, Moggallana, which was one of the main disciples of Buddha, when we have the two disciples that are depicted by the side of Buddha. One of them is called Moggallana. And he's said to be very powerful, doing like miraculous things, like he was able to disappear and to fly and do things like that. And one time he went to a land where the people around that place, they really didn't like Buddhists. And they caught him and they beat him up so badly. They really beat him up very, very badly. And when he arrived, all broken, in the place of Buddha, and the people asked him, why you didn't fly away or disappear or do one of the things that you know how to do so well? And he answered, when your karma catches you, you cannot escape. You know? So it's like, when the karma starts to ripen, then it's gone, you know. It's like if you have something very heavy and if you throw it from a very tall place, when it starts to go down, then you need to wait until it falls, you know. So this is like similar to that. That's why we need to purify our negative karma also before it starts falling, because when it starts giving its results, then it's a bit difficult at that moment to deal with it. So we need to purify it before it happens. So that's why we have the whole part of purification. And then after that we have the part of requesting the blessings. We will talk more about it later. And once after requesting the blessings, then we have the actual meditation on the path to enlightenment, or we can meditate specifically on impermanence or the correct view of reality, or on love or compassion, or many other ways of meditation, or we can do a specific practice such as self-healing or Guya Samadhi or Yamantaka or whatever, okay? So as we can see, this process that we have just explained is the same process that we do when we do, for example, the preliminary practices. No? When we do the normal preliminary practices, we do exactly the same. Refuge, bodhicitta, purification of the place, transformation of the offerings, inviting the merit field, the holy beings. Then after that we have making the 7 limb prayers, requesting the blessing, the 7 limb prayers, which is prostration, offerings, purification of the negative actions, rejoicing of the positive actions, requesting to the Guru Buddha to remain with us until the end of samsara, requesting his teachings, dedicating our merits for the enlightenment of all sentient beings. So these are the 7 limb prayers. We do it inside the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsong Kapa, we do in the preliminary practices, we do when we do, for example, Guru Puja also. All the 3, the preliminary practices, the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsong Kapa and the Guru Puja, they are all a practice of Guru Yoga. It's just a matter like the normal preliminary practices, when we do it very shortly, briefly. Then we have the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsong Kapa, which is a little bit longer, and then the Guru Puja that is longer. But basically, for example, when I do the offerings, if I do it in 25 verses, or if I do it in 8 verses, or if I do it in 1 verse, or if I do it in 1 line, the meaning is the same. It depends how much emphasis I'm giving to it. So, there are some differences between these 3 ways of practicing, but basically what changes is the way how we visualize the merit field and the emphasis that we give in the different parts, and the mantras and the way how we do the request of blessings. Basically that's it, but the structure is exactly the same. So it's very important for us to understand this structure, because then we can understand better all these practices. And then one day we have more time and we like to put more emphasis, for example, in the part of purification, we can put more emphasis there, or we want to put more emphasis in making offerings or prostrations, and we can put emphasis in wherever we want. But we need to understand the structure, no? So we have first the preparation, which is sitting in the correct position, breathing correctly, bringing our mind to a state of calm and balance. Then we have taking refuge, which is developing love towards ourselves, generating the bodhicitta, love towards others. Then there is the part with the absorption, and when we generate ourselves in a pure form through the 3 transformations, which is also meditation on the correct view of reality. Then from that we have the purification of the place, the transformation of the offerings, we invite the merit field, then we have the 7 limb prayers, and then after that we have the request of blessings, and then we can do a meditation which is familiarizing our mind with the gradual path to enlightenment, and then we do one, or we cannot also, it's possible not to do this part also, it's a very positive optional. And then after that, before doing the absorption of the merit field, we can do any other sort of meditation, or we just go directly to the absorption of the merit field. That's also possible. Otherwise, after that we can do a practice such as self-healing, or Guya Samaja or Vajrayogini, or a specific meditation, analytical meditation on impermanence, or anything like that. Okay? So this is a structure that we go through, which is very important to understand it. The reason why we go through this structure is because we need to accumulate merits, we need to purify our negativities, we need to request the blessings, which is a way to create a stronger connection with Guru Buddha, with the holy beings. And we need to familiarize our mind with the positive aspects of the path. That's why we do it. Okay? So basically, it's like a map for us to go through an inner process that will help us to develop the qualities that we need, basically. Okay? So, we go back to the specific part of the practice as we were doing yesterday, and we remember that all the parts of the practice, they have three aspects that we need always to take into consideration together. One aspect is the recitation, the words that we say. The recitation is important because the words, they uphold the meaning. Then we have the recitation, we have the visualization, and we have the state of mind, what we need to think, basically. Now in Tibetan we call gomde, or sadhana, which means recitation and meditation. Gom means meditation, which means to familiarize the mind, and de means to recite. So the words help to direct the mind, and the visualization also helps to direct the mind. But the core essence of the practice is what we think. It's the state of consciousness that we generate. It's not only what we recite. No, I can go and I can do Ganden Lha Ghiema I can go and I can recite the whole Guru Yoga of Lama Tsong Kapa like this. But if my mind is thinking about lunch, I am not doing the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsong Kapa. I am reciting the words of the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsong Kapa. Okay? There is a big difference between that. Okay? Actually, once we become an expert on a practice, we can do it even without the words. If we are able just to follow the visualizations and to generate the states of mind, it's okay. But in the beginning and in the middle, before we become a real expert in it, we need the words. Otherwise, our mind gets lost. If I am there and I try to meditate and I try to have the whole process, and in the middle way, I get somewhere else. We even get somewhere else, even with the words, so imagine without it. Okay? So, for that reason, the words are also important. But we should always remember that we have these three aspects. Words, which means the recitation, the visualization, and the meditation, which is the state of mind that we will generate. Okay? And there is a specific order. So first, for example, we take refuge. We have what we say, how we visualize, and the mind that we generate, which is generating love towards ourselves. Then we have the generation of the bodhicitta, which is generating love towards others and generating faith towards our own potential of enlightenment. And in all these steps, we have what we recite, what we visualize, and the state of mind that we generate. So we need to take these three aspects into consideration. Okay? Well, so we are in page number 7, in which the part which is called the invocation. Okay, we have already seen that yesterday. We will just go through some other details now, and then we move on. As we saw yesterday in the first 2 verses of the actual Ganden Lha Ghiema, which they are called invocation and entreating. So, what is this part? What we visualize? First of all, we will visualize in front of us Lama Tsong Kapa, which is like there is a beautiful white cloud. On it there is a throne, which is held by 8 lions. On top of which there is a lotus flower with a sun and a moon cushion, on which Lama Tsong Kapa is seated, crossed-legged, with the monastic robes, with the yellow, what we call chogo namjar, which is the yellow cloth used by Buddha and by in specific ceremonies and so on. So representing the pure morality. And then Lama Tsong Kapa has a yellow hat symbolizing his, they call yellow color is showing this perfect morality. The fact that it has a sharp point, it's showing his correct view of reality. Lama Tsong Kapa is smiling at us. Okay. At his crown there is the white Om, at the throat a red A, at the heart a blue Hung, at the navel a yellow Tram, at the secret chakra a green Ri. At the heart of Lama Tsong Kapa there is Buddha Manjushri, yellow-orange in color, with a sword in the right hand symbolizing the wisdom that cuts away ignorance, in the left hand in the mudra of teaching the Dharma, upholding a lotus flower with the Sutra of Perfection of Wisdom. And then, and the Hung is in the heart of Manjushri, at the heart of Lama Tsong Kapa. Then, and this is symbolizing that Lama Tsong Kapa represents the embodiment of wisdom of all Buddhas. On the right side of Lama Tsong Kapa is his disciple Gyatso Rinpoche, little bit older, also with the monastic robes. He's sitting in a lower throne, slightly looking towards Lama Tsong Kapa. He's with the right hand in the mudra of teaching the Dharma, the left hand in the mudra of meditation. He has also the yellow hat, pointed yellow hat. He's a bit older. We visualize Lama Tsong Kapa. We visualize Lama Tsong Kapa in a young aspect. Okay, and then Gyatso Rinpoche is little bit Gyatso Dharma Rinchen. His name is little bit older, and in his heart there is the Buddha of compassion, Avalokiteshvara Chenrezig. So this is symbol. He represents the embodiment of compassion. And he also has the Om Ahun Tramri. Then on the left side of Lama Tsong Kapa, on our right side, it is seated the other disciple called Kedrup Rinpoche. And Kedrup Rinpoche is a bit younger. He also has a more serious, slightly wrathful appearance. He's also seated slightly towards Lama Tsong Kapa. He also has the same mudras, and is dressed in the same way. And on his heart is the Buddha that manifests the embodiment of the power of realization of all Buddhas, which is Vajrapani, blue in color. Okay, so we have Vajrapani holding a Vajra in the right hand, holding this snooze, which is this sort of a rope with a hook at one point and a Vajra on the other on his left hand. And then Vajrapani symbolizes the power of realization of all Buddhas. And when we talk about the Buddhas, we always talk about three qualities, which in Tibetan is called Khyentse Nusum, which is wisdom, compassion, and power. So these are the three qualities symbolizing all holy beings. And in this case, sometimes we do the practice of Guru Yoga Lama Tsong Kapa, where we do this visualization of the three, which means wisdom, compassion, and power of realization in Lama Tsong Kapa himself. In this case, we divide it between the three, with the Guru and the father and the two sons. Okay? So, we have Lama Tsong Kapa, which is the embodiment of wisdom, Gyatso Rinpoche, the embodiment of compassion, and Kedrup Rinpoche, the embodiment of power of realization. Okay? From the six-syllable Hum, at the heart of the three of them, light emanates going into the 10 directions to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Dakas, Dakinis, protectors of Dharmas, to all holy beings, requesting them to come to this place. An emanation of every Buddha, Bodhisattva, in the form of our Guru, in the form of Lama Tsong Kapa, and in the form of light and nectar, and also in the form of other Buddhas, they come to this place and absorb into the visualization in front of us. Then after that, we have from Tushita, from the heart of Buddha Maitreya, above us, we visualize like in the heart of Buddha Maitreya, it's like golden door opens and comes this cloud, which is said to be similar like to an infinite knot, but then it's like starting with a very sharp point, and it's opening slowly towards our direction. And when it opens more widely in front of us, and with Lama Tsong Kapa, so the cloud comes with Lama Tsong Kapa and the two disciples, they descend from the pure land of Tushita, and they absorb into the visualization that we have in front of us, making the commitment being inseparable of the wisdom being. The commitment being is our visualization, The wisdom being is the actual Lama Tsong Kapa with 2 disciples coming from Tushita. Okay? So the state of mind that we generate at this moment is the certainty that Lama Tsong Kapa with Guru Rinpoche, Ganden Rinpoche, as the embodiment of the wisdom, compassion, and power of realization of all Buddhas are there. It's not just a mere revisualization. We really feel, we really experience as them being in front of us. The wisdom beings are actually not our visualization. It's the actual Buddhas, the actual Gurus, and so on. It's not exactly like that. The commitment beings is the visualization. The wisdom beings is when we invite the actual holy beings to come and become inseparable with our visualization. So the wisdom being is like the actual holy being, not our visualization. Okay? So but we still visualize it. Yes. So it become one. So Guru Buddha in front of us in the sense, we call it Guru Buddha Lama Tsong Kapa. It's inseparable of all Buddhas, of all our Gurus, of all holy beings in one. Okay? So, once we have visualized and we have Guru Buddha Lama Tsong Kapa in front of us and inseparable of all holy beings, we really imagine, we really experience as being there with us. Then we will start now with a part of the practice which is called the 7 limb prayers. Okay? So, the next part is the part of prostrations, where we start when we continue the 7 limb prayers. In the prostrations, normally we have 3 types of prostrations, which is called the prostrations of body, speech, and mind. The prostrations of body, it's physically showing respect, which we can do by maybe simply bowing ourselves a little bit forwards, or by uniting our hands in the heart, or we put the hands at the crown, throat, and heart, or we can stand up and do the actual short or long prostrations. Actually, this point of the practice is a point where if we want to do a retreat of prostrations, or if we want to do not necessarily a retreat, we want to do many prostrations, that's a good point to do. So we follow the practice up to here, sitting and doing the old visualization and so on, and then we stand up at this point, there is Guru Buddha, Lama Tsong Kapa in front of us, and then we start doing the prostrations. We can do 100 prostrations, we can do with the mantra Om Namo Manju Shri Namo Su Shri Namo Tam Shri Soha, and then there are many other prayers that we can do also as we do prostrations, and then we can do, and then this is the, we can, Om Namo Manju Shri Namo Su Shri Namo Tam Shri So is the mantra of prostration. And then we can do them 20 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, as many prostrations as we want, we can do at this moment. There are 2 points where we can do retreat of prostrations, basically. One is this, and then the other one is in the moment of the purification of negative actions, where we can also do prostrations. It's the 2 moments in which we can actually do the prostrations, okay? I don't know the exact meaning of the mantra Om Namo Manju Shri Namo Su Shri Namo Tam Shri Soha. Here Papan Rinpoche describes this mantra as the mantra that multiplies the benefits of prostration, okay? It says here, She Chagi Gyurungada Jalwe Kyancha Linsumgi Nga Jangnes. It says like it's a mantra that multiplies the benefits of prostrations. So this is the prostration of body. Then we do the prostration of speech, which is by praising the qualities, in this case of Guru Buddha Lama Tsong Kapa. And the prostration of mind is by remembering the qualities of Guru Buddha Lama Tsong Kapa and praising him through our mind. So the words that we say is Sheje Kyungun Jawe Lodrutu Kesanawe Gingur Lekshe Sun Chawe Pegi Lame Zebe Kutun to Timbe Tunde La Chal Sel. We praise his body, his holy body, speech, and mind. So the wisdom of your mind embraces the full extent of all that can be known, which means you realize and you perfectly the nature of every phenomenon. Your well-explained teachings are the ear ornament of the fortunate ones, which means your speech, the way how you speak, you can adapt the mentality and capacity of everyone. So whenever you say something, those that can listen to you your words are like ornament, which means that they will help them to make their mind better. You will help to develop the sentient beings. You become an ornament, you become a quality, something that will help to develop. It will help in the process of the path to enlightenment for everyone that is listening to you. Which means your words become meaningful for everyone. Another way, it means that every word that you say, it's perfectly adapted to the mentality of everyone that is listening. Your beautiful body is illuminated by the glory of your fame. What did we mean by this? What we mean is that your body, when we call here by the glory of your fame, it means by seeing you, it's meaningful. The moment that we see your body, it's like for us, when we see Rinpoche, it brings joy. It makes our heart to be full. There is this deep experience. So in the same way, when you talk about this glory, it's like the presence of a Buddha. The presence, in this case, we have Lama Tsong Kapa. It's really something that fills our mind, makes us to feel completely fulfilled and happy. So this is your presence brings joy to whoever sees you. So I prostrate to you, whom to see, hear, or recollect, remember, is meaningful. So by seeing you, by listening to you, by remembering you, makes my life meaningful. So this is basically the part where we do the prostrations of body, speech, and mind. Okay? And when we do prostrations, actually, one of the reasons why doing prostrations is that because prostrations is an antidote against pride, arrogance. And arrogance is one of the very strong defilements that we have that is very difficult to deal with. Because, for example, some people are arrogant because I feel that I am more humble than you. So I am better than you because I am more humble than you. I am better than you because I am a better practitioner than you. I am better than you because I am more beautiful, or because I am more whatever, or because I am less this or less that. In the moment that I feel superior of you because of something, some quality that I feel that I have, I'm being arrogant. And the main point of arrogance also is that, as there is a saying in Tibetan that says, at the top of the mountain of arrogance, the water of the teachings cannot remain, and the flowers of the realizations cannot grow. While at the how do you call, La Valle, at the valley of humbleness, of humility, at the valley of humility, the water of the teachings gather, and the flower of realizations can grow. Okay? So, in this way, when we are arrogant, we are not open to receive anything really from anyone. While there is for us to learn from everyone. We have always something that we can learn new. So in the moment that we have humility, that we are not comparing ourselves with others, that we are open to receive from everyone, then we can really learn a lot. So in our path, it's very important to develop this humility. So one of the first steps when doing prostration is a way to purify our negativities, to accumulate merits, and also to develop humility, which is a very, very important quality also for us. Okay? And by doing prostrations, if we do a retreat of prostrations, or we do not necessarily a retreat, but we do many prostrations, it's a practice that also helps very much to bring our mind to a clear state. At least for me, my personal experience is that when doing a lot of prostrations, it helps to break the mind becomes more clear. It's like if it makes more space within our own self. It's a very positive practice. It's a really amazing practice. But each one needs to do his own experience. Okay. So, after the prostrations, we have the part of offerings. Offerings is a very important moment also, because it's by making the offerings, what we do is that we are cultivating the mind of faith, respect, and gratitude. Most of all, gratitude is a very important quality that we need on our spiritual path. We need it on our life, but it's even more in our spiritual path. It's very important for us to generate gratitude. So, based on that, we need to thank, we need to receive. But when we make the offerings, it's not like a sort of a bargaining with Buddha, you know. It's like, okay, I have made you such offerings, now you need to give me that blessings, you know. It's not like an exchange. We are not buying anything, you know. It's not like, oh, I make many beautiful offerings, now you need to give me this or that. Now, some people sometimes have this attitude. They go in front of the altar and they buy very beautiful things and they make a beautiful offering in front of the altar. They say, okay, now you need to help me. Look, I'm going through this situation. I made you this offering. It's not like that. It simply doesn't work in that way, okay? What can work is that I accumulate merits, and because of that, I create the causes for things to go better. This is possible. But the main aspect when we do offerings is cultivating gratitude, is being grateful, is saying thank you somehow, is being grateful for the teachings that we receive, for the guidance that we receive, for the blessings that we receive. So we thank all the holy beings in the form of Guru Buddha Lama Tsong Kapa, inseparable of our gurus. We are grateful and we thank for the blessings, we thank for all the teachings and the guidance that we receive. So it's a very important moment where we feel fulfilled. We say, oh, how much I have received, how precious it is. And then we are grateful for it. So, as we do the offerings, there are many different ways how we can do the offerings here. We can make the offerings in a very extensive way. We can add here the mantra of the offerings with the mudras. Om Guru Buddha Saparivare Argam Padyam Pushbe Dube Aloke Ganden Nyenghiu Shapta Pratitsahum Soha. Or we can even do many extensive prayers of offerings and so on. Or we can simply just do the one verse of offering, which is very good also. Through which we say, this ocean, you want to not so method this ocean of clouds of mentally created and actual offerings, refreshing water, various flowers, fragrant incense, lights, perfumes, and so on, I offer to you the supreme field for the collection of merit. And we visualize that from our heart, many offering deities emanate. They go to Lama Tsong Kapa with the two disciples and they bring the offerings to them. There are very specific visualizations of the offerings. Some offerings we offer to them to eat or to drink, others we put in front of them, but we don't go into details right now. We can simply visualize that the offerings are brought to Lama Tsong Kapa in front of him, or the deities even absorb into the heart, with the offerings absorb into his heart. The most important aspect is that we imagine that when Guru Buddha Lama Tsong Kapa received the offerings, he's delighted with it. He experienced a new sensation of great bliss and emptiness. There is this great sensation of bliss that he experienced. That's the most important part, really. And then the offering deities come back and reabsorb into our heart. Okay? So this is the part where we do the actual offerings. Okay? And as I said before, we can do it very extensively or we can do it very briefly. It depends like how much time and emphasis we want to give here. And this is a very important part also for accumulating positive energy. The part of giving also, because it's giving that we receive. You know, it's said that the accumulation of merit, it comes mostly by giving. By giving to the holy beings, which are called making offerings, and by giving to the common sentient beings like us, which is called an act of generosity. But it's by giving that we generate a lot of positive energy also for ourselves. So this is also one of the most important parts when we talk about generating positive energy, accumulating merits, is the part where we actually make offerings. It's a very, very important aspect. There are the stories of many practitioners that would meditate for years and they would have no realizations. And they had a very good intellectual understanding, but it only remained intellectual. Then after they received some instructions that they needed to make offerings, then after making a lot of offerings, then they started to get the realizations again. Because it means you need to accumulate merit, you need to generate gratitude. This is very important, and for that we need to give. It's not just a matter of intellectual thinking, you know. So by generating this deep gratitude and by offering, by giving, then we also generate the necessary energy and the positive causes in order to realize the teachings also. So, The next point is the part which is translated as confessing, which personally I don't like very much this translation, because we call shakpa in Tibetan. In Tibetan it's more like openly admitting our negative actions. Because somehow the word confession, somehow it brings to my mind the idea of asking for forgiveness of what we have done and so on. And this is a very different concept here. Okay, so what we will do is that through all our lives we have done many negative actions. And when we do a negative action, the action itself ended. I'm lying, I'm killing, I'm stealing, I am acting out of jealousy, anger, pride, miserliness, hatred, or whatever, or an action of body, speech, or mind. And the moment my action finishes, it leaves an imprint. It's like an energy that remains there. It's like a seed that I plant in my mind. Okay? If I do not openly admit my own mistake, what happens is that that energy that I have created, it will grow. It's like if I create a debt, and then I have the interest rate on the debt that I have made. Okay? So, both positive and negative actions, they create like a credit or a debt somehow. And they have the nature of growing. It's like they have an inertia, they have an energy that continues. So they have this energy that it grows, it continues. So, how can we stop them growing? By openly admitting it as a mistake. If I openly admit a positive action as a mistake and I say, oh, why did I help that person? I shouldn't have done that. What happens? I block that positive action from growing. If I go and I do a negative action and after I say to myself, oh, I shouldn't have done that action, I am blocking it from growing also. So, the first step here is to openly admit our negative actions as negative. But we do not remember all the negative actions we have done, right? We barely remember what we ate yesterday for lunch. How can we remember all the actions we did out of anger, jealousy, pride, miserliness, and so on? So what we do is that we say, I openly admit all the negative actions of body, speech, and mind I have done since the beginningless time. And inside of this, we have all the times, we should think about all the times we acted with anger, with jealousy, with pride, with miserliness, arrogance, hatred, aversion, selfishness, and so on. Okay? So the words that we say is, whatever unwholesome action committed by body, speech, and mind I have accumulated since beginningless time, especially transgression of the 3 types of vows, with strong, heartfelt regret, I confess each and every one. When we talk about here the transgression of the 3 types of vows, there are 2 ways of interpreting this. One way is we talk about, the most common way is we talk about the pratimoksha vows, which is the self-liberation vows, which is basically like not killing, not stealing, not lying, and so on. And then we have the bodhisattva vows and the tantric vows. So these are the 3 types of vows: the pratimoksha vows, the bodhisattva vows, and the tantric vows. And this is one way of seeing when we talk about the transgression of the 3 vows. Another way of seeing, more uncommon way of interpreting it, when we talk about the transgression of the 3 vows, is we have the 3 types of vows, which is the vow of accumulating virtuous actions, of the vow of purifying, of avoiding negative actions, and the vow of benefiting others. These are also called the 3 types of vows or the 3 types of moralities. Okay, so the point here is that we made commitments, so we openly admit all the times that we have transgressed our own commitments also. So the important thing is that we need openly to admit our mistakes. Okay, and when we talk about openly admitting our mistakes, it doesn't mean that we need to feel guilty. It's not saying, oh, look how bad I am, I must suffer for what I have done, I am a bad person, It's not that. What we need to do, and we are also not asking for forgiveness. I'm not asking for forgiveness to Lama Tsong Kapa. Why should I ask for forgiveness if he's not angry with me? He has no problem with me, I don't need to forgive him for anything. I need to forgive myself. Not even that. I just need to openly admit I have done a mistake, and I need to generate the strong intention not to repeat it anymore. So that's the main point. Because when we say the word confession, sometimes it brings to us a whole idea of asking for forgiveness and feeling guilty and so on. Here we are not guilty. We should not feel guilty. Simply we should be aware that I am ignorant, and out of my ignorance I have done these stupid things. And I recognize that I did it out of ignorance. I recognize that they were stupid actions. Stupid because I want to be happy, and out of this action I just create more suffering for myself. And so I openly admit they were mistakes. And I make the commitment I will not repeat them again. That's the important thing. And then we have what are called the 4 powers of purification. The first one is to develop an opposite attitude to the one of our negative actions, which basically is developing when we take refuge and bodhicitta, which we have already done before. Then the second one is to openly admit our negative actions as mistakes. The third power is to have an intention not to repeat again such actions. And the fourth power is the actual visualizations and practices of purification. So if we just recite this verse, we can visualize from the heart of Guru Buddha Lama Tsong Kapa, white light and nectar that comes to our crown, fills completely our body. All our negativities, they come out of our body in the form of dirt from our porises that absorbs into space, dissolves into space, and we simply are completely purified from every negative action that we have done until now. We can do at this point, we can do the practice of Vajrasattva. At this point, we can do the practice of prostrations with the Vajrasattva mantra, or we can do the practice of prostrations also with the confession of the 35 Buddhas. Okay? So we can do any purification practice at this point of the practice also. Okay? I find myself in a slightly difficult situation because I want to go into details about every part of the practice, and we don't have really the time to do that, okay? But we have other occasions also. So let's move on. But it's important when we conclude this part of openly admitting our negative actions that we feel released from the negative actions after we finish the visualization of it, okay? So, after openly admitting our mistakes and purifying our negativities, we go to the next part, which I'm going to go a little bit briefly through each one of them, which is the rest of the 7 limb prayers, which is the part called rejoicing. Rejoicing is a very important aspect because rejoicing is when we need to recognize the positive aspect of others. It's also a very important antidote against envy. And we need to open our heart to the positive actions of others without comparing ourselves to others, but we need to open our heart for it. So we start by rejoicing of the virtuous actions of the holy beings. In this specific case, remember the life of Lama Tsong Kapa, and we say, okay, oh, you have done so many incredible things, your whole process of study and practice and teachings, all the virtuous actions. We can remember the aspects of the life of Lama Tsong Kapa and we rejoice about them. We generate joy from it. Then remember about the qualities of our Guru and the positive actions that he have done, and we rejoice about it. Remember the qualities of the Buddhas and all holy beings. And then we go to the people of common people that we know, and then we rejoice about them, and then we rejoice about the actions of our own self later. Okay, finally. So it's a moment through which we must open our heart to others and to the positive actions that others have done. And it's one of the best ways also of accumulating merits, of accumulating positive actions. The verses that we say is Nime to the Mount of By striving for much learning and understanding in this degenerate age, and by abandoning the 8 worldly dharmas, you made your favorable rebirth meaningful. O Lord, in great wave of your deeds, we rejoice from the depths of our hearts. So we will rejoice of the virtuous actions of Guru Buddha Lama Tsong Kapa, representing all holy beings. Okay?
And it's important in this moment, we visualize Lama Tsong Kapa and we imagine the positive actions that he have done, representing the positive actions of all Buddhas, and we develop this state of joy from our heart by seeing such positive actions. Okay? After that, we go to the part which is requesting to turn the Dharma wheel, requesting to give the teachings. And it's a way by creating the positive interdependence in order to receive the teachings. So the request that we do, the verses that we say is Jetsun Lama Tamba Kenam Ge Chogo Kala Kenze Tintik Ne or Chudzin Tik Jidar Sampe Dujezimala Sabge Chogi Charba Abtu So. I request you, exalted and venerable gurus, who have gathered clouds of wisdom and compassion in the space of Dharmakaya, in accordance with the needs of the field of your disciples, let the rain of the vast and profound Dharma thereby fall. So we request, please guide me, please be nearby me and every one of your disciples. At each and every moment, please guide me in every word I say, in every thought I have, in every choice I make. Please guide me with the Dharma at every moment of my life and all my future lives. This is the request that we make, and as we do this request, we visualize that we offer a beautiful golden Dharma wheel to Buddha, Guru Buddha Lama Tsong Kapa. After that, we have one verse here, that this verse, in some versions of the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsong Kapa, this verse is present. In many other versions, it's not present. Like in some monastery, they recite this verse. In other monastery, they don't recite this verse, okay? Like actually, when I first learned the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsong Kapa, the way how it's done in Sera, this verse is never being recited. Like in Ganden, they are reciting this verse, okay? The emphasis of this verse is the emphasis to the request to remain until the end of samsara, which we have already made this request actually in the first verse, Dungye Namkar Sentri Pedenten Jetsun Lama Gebe Tsungkarchen Dalo Tebe Suna Shinchoto, Tempar Gechi Kel Gyar Shuk Susol. At the end of the verse, when we say Tempar Gechi Kel Gyar Shuk Susol, it says, in order that the teachings may flourish, I request you to remain for 100 of eons. We already made a request to remain. But here we put against emphasis for Guru Buddha to remain with us, which is a special request for Guru Buddha to remain with us in the gross body as the Guru. So it's a way to request the Guru for his long life also. So we say, Namda wese yingne shembaye sungju kula charnu mingayang tame nangor suku rakpanyi site pardo minu tempera shuk. You emerge from the sphere of clear light. And even though your body of union is not subject to birth and extinction, your body of union of clear light and illusory body is not subject to birth and extinction, may your gross body form, Rupakaya, that appears to ordinary beings remain stable and never waning until the end of samsara. So remain with us with this gross body in the appearance as our Guru. With this physical body, please remain with us always here. So this is the request that we do. So we do this verse to put emphasis in this request for long life of the Guru also. And if we are doing a long life puja, normally when we do the long life pujas here, we always do with the Guru Puja. No? It's also possible to do with the Ganden Lha Ghiema. And this is the point where we should do the long life prayer and so on. And we visualize that we offer a double Vajra as request for stability. Like when we do the Guru Puja or the long life puja, that the Vajra master stands up and offer the double Vajra to the throne, we visualize the same thing that we offer the double Vajra to the throne of Guru Buddha Lama Tsong Kapa, okay? Symbolizing stability of his long life. After that, we do the dedication, in which we open our hearts to every sentient being, and we dedicate all the merits that we have here accumulated for the enlightenment of every sentient being and for the teachings of Lama Tsong Kapa, Goren and Buddha Shakyamuni and Lama Tsong Kapa to remain in this world until all sentient beings may have reached enlightenment. So we say, Dagi jinya sape gewadi tenda druwa kun la kampedan kebar jutsun losan chapa tembe nimbo rendo salche sho. Whatever virtue I have accumulated by this practice, may it benefit the teachings of all beings, the teachings and all beings. Especially, may the essence of the teachings of the Venerable Sumatikirti with Lama Tsong Kapa be illuminated forever. So, may especially the teachings of Lama Tsong Kapa remain in this world forever to benefit sentient beings. So we dedicate our merits. By this, we conclude the part of the 7 limb prayers, and we start after that with the part which is requesting the blessings, okay? And then we will look at that after lunch, okay? With this we conclude the 7 limb prayers. Then we still have the part of requesting the blessings with the mantra recitation. Then there is the meditation on the gradual path to enlightenment, which we will not see today. And then after that there is the absorption, which I would like to explain later, okay? Even if briefly I would like to explain a little the part of absorption. So we come back after lunch, and then Lama Gangchen will also be coming after lunch here also together with us, okay? So I would say we can come back, okay, let's say 3:15, okay? Just to be precise, give us the 2 hours, okay? Jetsun lame kotse rabden chi namkar tinle chochur gepa dang losan tempe drume sasum gi drove munse tatu ne gyurchi nimo dele tsendele nime Ninsen takto delekpe kuncho sumke jingelo kuncho sumke ngodrupso kuncho sumke trashisho. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the 3 jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness. Omahum Tembalame Sangye Rinpoche, Kyobalame Tamcho Rinpoche, Rimbalame Gendu Rinpoche, Kyamne Kuncho Sumla Chobabu, Locho Sambo Pagyo Trashipa, Tuche Tembe Trinle Yarngo, Pegedrolo Zambe Zebrache, Pande Lame Shela Chobabu.